financials can really destroy your partnership, and it shouldn't. It should be just a process. It's easy to fix that, but that will cause people to not trust one another.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Liz.
And this is Andressa.
Welcome back to the Real Estate InvestHER Show. We are talking about 3 ways to destroy a partnership. That's correct. So get your pencil out and your paper out, and we're going to go to it specifically on how to destroy any partnership. Right, Andressa?
Yes, we're so excited to share about that with you, but I think it's important. It's important.
All right. So here's the deal, as you like to say, Andressa. I always like when you say that. Here's the deal. Real estate investing, like many businesses, there's a level of complication. There's a level of partnership that comes in for a lot of investors on some level at some point in your career, if you will. So knowing how to set yourself up for success is obviously the goal. But these are ways, I'm going to share 3 ways that we've seen partnerships get destroyed and really not be able to evolve. And people go their separate ways. It happens all the time, right? To good people, right? To good people, sometimes not so good people, but to good people as well. So we're going to go through 3 ways and give you some specifics here. Andressa, I'd love for you to jump in too. So number 1, and I think this is such an important foundation, is that a lot of partnerships don't start out in really on a foundation of a relationship. So here's what I mean by that. I'll give you an example, right? Andressa and I, we were good friends first. So we got a chance to get to know each other. And we started to kind of build our emotional bank account with one another. It's a term, if you are no idea what I'm talking about, Google it. Stephen Covey, very world-renowned best-selling author, really coined that term. But it's in essence just like any bank account where we make deposits, we make withdrawals. And from an emotional perspective, if you keep trying to withdraw from an account that doesn't have any sort of deposits, the bank account goes into default, just like it would in a normal way. So it's a really good analogy, right? To think about an emotional bank account. So every relationship that we're building, especially a partnership, has a metaphorical emotional bank account, whether you call it that or not. And so are we making deposits? Are we making withdrawals? And are we making too many withdrawals? Are we making enough deposits, right? So anyway, going back to the point here is that when you don't have that established and you, like Andressa and I, we're good friends. And then I think we then did our mastermind together. No money, right? No money was exchanged. We brought together Mindy Jensen, who's part of Bigger Pockets, really great group of women. And we supported each other through Skype, nonetheless.
Oh my gosh. Are you freaking now we're old?
I know, now we're old. I'm totally dating myself. I am old, Andressa. I am old. You just can't see my gray hair.
I don't know about you, but I'm a millennial.
You can't see my grays. But, and then we moved to actually partnering together on deals, but we actually didn't open a bank account together and open create an LLC together. We actually did a JV deal where, my company with my husband, we were actually the borrowers on the property. We then created a JV agreement with Andressa and her husband at the time. And then we went forward on that project.
I know you checked that JV agreement recently, right?
I did. I was like, and I said, did we do this right? And things that we suggest. And we did, I will say. And we did set ourselves up for success. And then that led us to doing more deals together and then actually opening an LLC together and getting into more than what we're doing here, right? The Real Estate Investor. This is not a project. This is not a hobby. This is a movement in a business, in a worldwide movement that we're doing. So it evolved, but that JV, Andressa, that we did really set us up for success, to be honest.
100%. And I think that a lot of people get into partnerships too quickly because they don't know better. They met somebody and they're getting married the next day. We have a lot of successful stories about marriage that last long, but majority, that's not what it happens. So what Liz is talking here in quick summary is that before you get into partnerships, there are other options that we recommend you to take to build that emotional bank account, to know one another, to see if you can rely on each other, to verify if the communication process works, how you guys interact with one another, and build trust. That's ultimately what that looks like. But a lot of people go into partnerships because they believe that that's the only way that they can do things. And then they spend too much time into thinking about the name of their LLC than to the specific agreement itself, right?
Love it. Love it. So here's the number two way to destroy your partnership is a lack of clarity around your financials. I mean, think about it, right? You can't buy a property without, oh, well, the finances don't really matter in this project. Like, it's just not the business we're in, right? It's not the business we've signed up to do. So what do we mean by that? In any sort of partnership, in any sort of team, there's a level of scrutiny that needs to happen. The money coming, the money going, where's that money? Where is it? Number one, is there a strong bookkeeping? I mean, if you don't have a bookkeeper and you haven't, one of the partners, or at least one partner is overseeing the bookkeeper, that's essential. That is incredibly essential. And do you need QuickBooks? We could have a whole episode on get QuickBooks or not, but your spreadsheet better be very, very well put together and be updated on a daily basis. Not like, oh, we're 2 months behind. On a flip, you don't know if you're doing well, you're not doing well, you're managing the payment schedule, you've gotten a loan. That's a daily update. I'm sorry. Someone should be touching that on a daily basis.
A lot of people are freaking out right now, Liz. They're like, daily? What the hell? Liz is strict, people. But listen, can I give an exit if people are freaking out right now and they said, I'm not going to do that?
Yes.
All right. So if you cannot do that in a daily basis, right? Make sure you keep all the receipts digitally or in paper. Make sure you do that. But think like this. Every Friday, think if you do or if you don't, every Friday, make sure that your week report is there for your private money lender. Even if you don't have one, pretend you do, yourself, your dog, you name it, doesn't matter, right? But pretend you do have a private money lender that you need to do a report about the progress of the project, where the money is at, and any challenge, anything that you can think of that it's important. But the financials in a weekly basis, then it's a non-negotiable. If you cannot do it in a daily basis, you must do it in a weekly basis. Otherwise, I don't know about your memory, but I won't remember things, especially when you're scaling. This toilet here, what property? There is no PO. Oh, then the cumbersome happen, right? And God forbid you have an audit, then things can get very serious about it. So financials can really destroy your partnership. And it shouldn't. It should be just a process. It's easy to fix that, but that will cause people to do not trust one another.
Correct. That's the number one, right? The number one relationship piece in the emotional bank account builds trust. It doesn't just build relationship, it builds trust so you can deal with that. I'd also say, the other piece of it is having that what if conversation. What if the project costs more than you're anticipating, especially a flip, especially with a shorter term project, right? Yeah. I would say rentals are forgiving. I think rentals are the most forgiving asset, regardless if it's single family or multifamily. But if you're having it long term, it could be forgiving. Flips are not forgiving. It's a beginning, middle, and end. It's you either made money or didn't. There's no forgiving there necessarily. So you really need to have that what if conversation. And do you have the financial backing to bring money to the table? God forbid that happens, and who does, right? So just conversations that need to be had.
When would you have those conversations, Liz?
When you need the money. No. I'm joking.
Hey, by the way, tomorrow.
Exactly. I need 40 grand. Go wire your money. No, you need to have those conversations when you are considering the partnership, right? And you're in the dating phase. You need to know, when the SHIT hits the fan, I don't want to say in case your kids are listening, what will happen? Will your partner be able to do whatever it takes to get to the finish line? And how much and if the answer is yes, then what does that look like in terms of resources? Some people may not have the resources, and at least you have that agreement. If this happens, I have the finances to bring the money to the table if we have to dig into some other account, if you will. And that's, at least it's upfront and it's clear. Mm-hmm. It's when it's not, but yes, on the front end, not when you're in the middle of the storm, because that's the worst time, right? That's when your relationship is going to start to tear. And then the third way to destroy a partnership, if that's your goal in life, right? Or to at least avoid this. So many people have a lack of understanding what roles and expectations are. I think this goes for life. I mean, you think about it, any frustration you have with anyone in your life, especially on a relationship level, especially a partnership level, if there is a lack of expectation or unsaid expectations, roles shift, roles change. It's not written down. Things evolve. It's messy. It's complicated. Then the frustration begins, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? It's like a tear of a piece of paper. I always say relationships don't end by one tear. They don't, because a tear can get mended. You put a piece of tape, but then you don't put a piece of tape, and then the tear gets bigger and bigger. And then the piece of paper is literally ripped in half. The rip in half actually doesn't, I mean, you could literally just rip it in half, but I always like to say, it's one tear at a time. And then it really just adds to this tear that's unable to get mended. That's what we want you to avoid. And the way to do that is there's 3 areas you want to get really clear on. What you're both bringing to the table with your time, what you're both bringing to the table with money, key piece to real estate. And the third thing is your expertise. And what does that look like for both of you? And these, again, conversations you need to have before you JV or form that LLC together or go buy that property. We were at a conference recently and we had heard a group of women talking. I'm going to go buy some property with you. Let's go buy a property together. I was like, and then they start talking and I'm like, hold on. Go, let's start small here, ladies. But it's important to set yourselves up for success. No one wants to destroy a partnership. Most people don't wake up and say, I want to destroy this partnership, but yet it happens every single day. And we want to see you avoid that as much as possible. So if you could do these 3 things, get really clear on building your emotional bank account, take baby steps together. Number 2, get crystal clear on your finances. Who is doing what? Where's the money being held? How are you accounting for it? If not on a daily basis, at least a weekly basis. And then thirdly, get really laser focused on your roles and expectations. Even from a time, money, and experience perspective, you're going to set yourselves up for success and you're going to avoid destroying your partnership.
You know what? For one more thing before we go, partnerships can really bring you down or take you to the next level. So choose your partners wisely. And I mean that in a more from an awareness perspective, right? Because if you are only bringing to the table and partner up with people that are exactly like you, that's a recipe for a disaster. So you want diversity. You want diversity in thinking and personalities, cognitive, you name it. You go on and on and on. So you don't want to get together with a bunch of people that all have the same level of expertise on the subject. Oh, we're going to learn together. I'm out.
Yeah,
we're not going to learn together. We're not going to learn together. I'm out. Right? The same, nobody has time or somebody has some time and we can all share this task. When somebody shares a task, when nobody owns it truly, then it's conflict all the time. Because if you don't have an ownership, it's one chair, one seat. Who is responsible for it? More than one person cannot be responsible for it, because then that person cannot be held accountable for the task or for the progress of it. So I hope you take this uplift podcast to do not destroy your partnership. I don't believe that, as Liz said, anybody wakes up and saying, I'm going to purposefully do those things in order to destroy a partnership. It's very unconscious. So we want to bring this to your conscious level. Share this with your partner and have a conversation. What can you do together in order to elevate how each other feels about it? And then you take it to the next level and let us know. I'm curious. Let us know what you take out of this. What are the changes that you're looking to make your partnership work? Thanks so much for listening. Bye.